Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to the webinar training room. How's everyone today? It's been quite warm here in Sydney for the past few days. Is the audio okay for everyone so far? Audio, you can interact with us down here in the chat function here. All right. If it's your first time, this is more a one-to-one direct training. You can interact with us here in the chat function. Let's say for questions that you need to ask, type here, then we can respond to you guys, maybe verbally or through in words as well. Is everyone okay? One final question for you guys. All good? Then let me introduce the National Sales Manager of LG, Marcus. He will do the introduction of the LG products.
Hello everybody. I had a long weekend, so I might look a little bit tired, guys, but thanks for being with us. We expect to be about 40 guys out of the LG dealer network to be here with us. Quickly, what we're going to go through, I'll do a short intro, just some general rules, just a bit of overview of the product and where we want to go. Then Alan will do about a 10-minute short presentation. We then get SMA to have about a 15-20 minute presentation about their Sunny Island and interaction with the Rezo and also their smart home appliance. And then at the end, I think the key part is really the question and answers, but you have to basically type the questions in. Hopefully we've already answered quite a few of the key information by then. I refer, by the way, everybody back to the FAQs that we've recently sent out. There were 39 questions or even 40 that are answering already some of the key information that you guys might want to know. If you have additional questions or if you don't know where the FAQs ended up, send me a new email and I email them out again. Just as a first one to let you know, the Rezo 6.4 is an LG Chem product. It is not an LG Electronics product. So LG Chem are looking to set up their own unit in Australia with a separate office, but LG EAP or LG Australia is going to assist them. Obviously, we strongly believe that the benefit of storage can go hand in hand with a Neon. I think and suggest to you right now, from now on, sell a hybrid ready system where you're emphasizing the advantage of the higher efficiency panel, and we'll bring some training out on that as well. Overall, I also want to mention that the service, we're negotiating with SMA at the moment, so that service calls for the product will end up with SMA and then will be filtered and directed subsequently. I also, down the track, if I can put my hat on and look forward, would like to see the LG dealer network to play a role in the, I'm talking to slow down, try to tell the LG dealer network to have a role in the serviceability of the product. So we would look at some training. I understand that there will be a specific on-grid storage certificate coming through out of the CEC, and obviously people installing it would be encouraged and servicing it to take that course, which I do believe will be up to 160 hours. So that's going to be the forward-looking part of storage. Finally, the extension units are available by late August, and the current units with that have been ordered so far by SolarJuice, but there will be other distributors ordering it, will be coming in mid to late July. Those units are specifically available right now on a special price, and those units are for the actual unit $3,900 US, which I think is around 5,000 Australian dollars from SolarJuice ex GST, so there's transport on top, and the whole Sunny Island kit for, let's say, the 3 kilowatt unit. That is a number of items that SMA will later talk all the items you need, like the smart manager, home manager. All of that together is, I believe, 3,900, excluding GST, excluding transport. So around the little bit less than $9,000 mark, you will be able to get the whole kit. So that's the price point right now, but we are looking, at least on the battery side, to trailing that down over the next 12 months. I think that's all I have at the moment. I'd like to see and introduce Alan now to basically go through the LG Chem presentation, and then after that we will have Adrian from SMA, and then we will go through to the FAQs. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alan Choi, in charge of sales and marketing in Australia, and not only the residential storage, but also we are looking for the grid-connected storage system. LG, I introduced briefly our battery business and product. And LG Chem revenue 2014 about $22 billion, but storage system is only for 13%, which is $3 billion. But we more invest in energy solution business is 40%. So our business under the LG Chem, we're mainly petrochemicals. Most revenue is from petrochemical plastic resins and plastic, that kind of business. And also we have glass, LCD glass, and OLED material, IT material, and also we have battery energy storage solutions. We start battery business 1995 for consumer electronics, like we supply mobile phone batteries, and also laptop, power tool. Our customer is still, we have Apple, Nokia, Dell, big, huge consumer electronic companies. And since 2008, we start electrical vehicle battery business. We supply battery for hybrid vehicle and plug-in vehicle and 100% electrical vehicle. Our customer is General Motors, Chrysler, Audi, Mercedes, and Volvo, and Hyundai, and Kia, Ford. Like 80% of huge car manufacturers are using for our battery for their electrical vehicle. Since 2011, we start energy storage system business, and let's show you. Under the energy storage system, we called ESS. We have grid-connected product and residential storage product, and also for UPS product. For our reference, the batteries can be connected with ancillary service for the generations, and also grid utility transmission line and distribution line. For that ancillary service, the application is going to be for frequency regulation and peak shifting, large solar farm like wind farm, renewable integrations, and also we have consumption-based like residential storage system, and also a data center or like your building commercial storage system. So for our reference, we deployed about 300 megawatt-hour battery system only for the storage energy storage system. We have a biggest project is operating in the United States called Southern California Energy and Tehachapi in US. The storage system is about 32 megawatt-hour system. It's running right now. Also, we have in Europe and South America have about 4 megawatt and 5 megawatt-hour system is operating right now. And now I'm looking for like grid scale the project within utility companies in Australia too. This is energy storage system business scope in LG Chem. We manufacture cells and BMS, which is battery management system in-house, and we also packaging cell and BMS and making a building block to stack in the 19-inch rack. Also residential batteries. We also provide containerized solutions like megawatt-hour scale for grid connection project. Okay, for now, explain more about residential battery. We have a previous product which is working with SMA Sunny Boy Smart Energy. which is 2 kilowatt hour system, and we launched 2013. And also we launched a 5 kilowatt hour system in Germany 2013. Now we for last month we launched new product called Reju 6.4 kilowatt hour system, looking very tiny and efficiency of the volume. The product has composed the main unit and also expansion unit. The main unit is 6.4 kilowatt hour, and expansion unit is 3.2 kilowatt hour. So you can expand up to 12.8. So which called 6.4 is main, and you can increase 9.6 up to 12.8 kilowatt hour with 2 expansion units. The nominal voltage is 51.8 volt. Is same as working with a 48 volt inverter system. The maximum current is 110 ampere, and dimension is the width is 40 centimeter, and the height is 66 centimeter, and depth is about 17 centimeter, and weight is about 65 kilogram. This is the product specific in detail. Nominal energy is main unit 6.4 kilowatt hour, and nominal charging and discharging we recommend is 0.3 C. And peak power is 5 kilowatt, and battery charging discharging round trip efficiency is over 95%. Expected lifetime is over 10 years, and cycle life is more than 6,000 cycle life. And available operating temperature is 0 to 40 Celsius, and optimum operating temperature is about 10 to 35 Celsius. And this battery is has a CAN communication with the inverter, and the IP protection class is IP21. We have also UN transportation regulations, UN 38.3. Inside of battery, we have the pouch type cell, 3.7 volt, 31.5 Ah, which is basic cell. We stack in the 4 cells and make a sub module. In the main unit, there are 4 sub modules, and expansion unit there are 2 sub modules. It's very easy to scalable, easy to installation, and we already launched in Germany about 2 months ago. So, and also with the same technology, with the same cells, has approved in the market, in German market, since 2013. This is on our one of the biggest the distributor in Germany. They are selling Reju 6.4 unit with the Sunny Boy Sunny Island unit. This is all today for LG Chem. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, please contact me. The email that show you in the screen. Thank you very much.
Okay. Before I introduce Adrian, there's a couple of things that I'm sure a lot of you guys do want to know. And I just share that already so that later on in the FAQs and the text that you might ask questions, we don't have to go through some of these things which are already in the FAQs. As far as I know, it only goes to 12.8, so you can have the 6.4, or you have a 9.6 or a 12.8. Those units will be about a month after the other units available. The second point is, I believe if you had a 3-phase house, you could actually put a resu on each phase. So theoretically, for that home, you could actually put, you know, a 12.8 times 3. So that would be possible in that case. The IP rating means the product has to physically be installed indoors. But we don't feel that from a safety point of view there is a bigger issue there. We currently have one of the company's trials through the product and see all the appropriateness for the Australian standard, and we are getting that feedback back. So there are a couple of certification issues that are still coming through as we're just starting to introduce the product into the market. It works very well with the Sunny Island range, but please be aware that you don't, just because it's a 6 kilowatt unit, you don't have to pair it with a 6 kilowatt Sunny Island. It will work very well, let's say, with the 3 kilowatt or now the 4 kilowatt that are coming through and that are being ordered by quite a large range of distributors. So with that, just as a bit of an overview again of hopefully useful information, I'll introduce Adrian to basically go through the Sunny Island range. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. How's everyone going with the LG Chem product at the moment? Is everyone still awake? Okay, this is a thing of online training. We're not too sure whether you're on the screen or not. So before going on to the SMA flexible storage, let's do a quick poll, all right? Just to see if you guys are here or not. That one will be, oh, not that one. Let me close this one first. Let's test you guys. The LG Chem battery size. What's the largest? Which of the following is the largest LG Chem battery for residential storage? Okay, you can click on the answers just to see if everyone's awake, all right, before I go on to the more in-depth product of the Sunny Island. 12.8, 4.1, 6.4, just some random numbers there. 6.4 is, if you can see here in the screen, 6.4 is this size unit. It's quite hard to describe in centimeters how big, how small, so just a direct comparison with the Sunny board right in front of you guys. This is the width is basically a Sunny board, and you can see the height is almost like a little bit longer than a Sunny Island unit, all right? Then the depth, just a little bit smaller than Adrian's small hand, okay? That would give you the approximate idea of a 6.4 lithium-ion battery, okay? The size of it right in front of you. Back to that poll question, the correct answer is 12.8, okay? It will be larger than that one, of course, but at the moment, they're offering the largest 12.8. Cool? Let's, any questions so far with LG Chem batteries? You can type in the chat function here. We are ahead of time. We are ahead of time. Let's just see, you've got people typing things up before you start forgetting things. Maybe I'll have Marcus and, Marcus, you want to do it at the end, or?
No, I think...
Yeah, maybe, yeah, while they're still...
I think it's worthwhile people throw their questions in it now. We got a chance to read them. While you do the presentation, we can see if there's anything else we look up. So when you have questions right now, my suggestion is they get typed up as you now look at the next presentation, and it gives us a chance to then go into those questions to answer them when we come back after your presentation.
Okay, yep. So type your answers as we go along, then we'll summarize that at the end. We'll answer those individual ones as we go along. Okay, all good. Let's move on to the Sunny Island stuff, the interesting bits. Let me change the presentation first. I can see there are some comments here with the audio and speed. Everyone all right with the connection? I may close my visual. Maybe it's all right. Oh, okay. Cool, all good. Now let's go on to the Sunny Island flexible storage, okay? For those that attended my face-to-face training on the previous webinar trainings, this is exactly the same, okay? But there's a refresher for you guys, all right? First off, as always, before going on-grid storage, you need to understand how it works in the off-grid mode. Because in the on-grid storage, when the grid goes away, then basically everything is off the grid, okay? You need to understand how it works first, all right? So let's go through that very quickly in 10 minutes time. how it works, all right? This yellow box here, paired up with the battery system, 48 volt battery system, can provide your house with AC grid voltage, frequency, okay? So you can then power up your LG washing machine, LG TV. What other LG stuff that we got? Fridge as well. I don't think I've got any one of those. Laptop as well. I don't think they've got lights yet, but LG car may be coming up very soon, all right? So with this combo, you get electricity at your house without the electricity grid, all right? At the moment, well, even though you have AC voltage and frequency, you still need some form of generation sources, okay? So of course, using quality products, we recommend you the SMA Sunny Boy, okay? Single phase, of course. You can, of course, attach a three-phase system with those tri-power in there, okay? At the moment, system is not compatible with the micro SP240, okay? At the moment, not compatible. So just stay focused with the string inverters at the moment, okay? So now, from now onwards, off-grid mode, okay? Off-grid until I tell you guys to go to on-grid mode. So off-grid, we currently offer 4 sunny islands, okay? 3.0, 4.4, the 6, and the 8. All of these guys runs on 48 volts, okay? 48 volts battery voltage only, okay? It's just the AC output power that is slightly different, okay? And remember, those ratings are 30 minutes rating, okay? 30 minutes rating only. Let's have a quick look at the specification of all 4. I was just going to highlight those that are important is the maximum power, okay? You know all the continuous power. What can it do for 3 seconds? Okay, for the larger units, the 6 and the 8, 3 seconds it can do 11 kilowatts. Okay, 11 kilowatts. The 2 smaller versions, the 3 and the 4M, can do 5.5 kilowatts for 3 seconds. Okay, enough for those large surge to start the motors and other things. And the next one is the maximum current it can handle. Okay, for a short period of time, 60 milliseconds, the larger ones can take in 120 amps, okay? So it ensures that not the whole system will trip, but only that particular circuit breaker, that circuit that has a fault will trip first, okay? You don't want the whole off-grid system to shut down, okay? You don't want your lights to go off, all right? Just those particular circuits that has a fault, all right? Internally, each has a 50 amps internal contactor. So if you're in an off-grid in somewhere up halfway the mountain, you can connect your generator and pull 50 amps. 50 amps, okay? Pull 50 amps, 230 volts from the external sources, okay? Whether it's a hamster running through the wheel or the genset, 50 amps maximum, okay? For the off-grid setup first, off-grid. It can, of course, take in lead acid and also lithium-ion batteries, okay? 48 volts. Minimum for lithium-ion is 50 amp hours. Okay, 50 amp hours. For lead acid, minimum 100 amp hours. Okay, hope it's all good for the specification. Let's move on to the flow diagram. Let's see how it works. Adrian, as always, only has a tight budget. Okay, can only get a small battery bank such as this one. Okay, they're gonna give it to me now. Okay. 6.4 kilowatt hours, and the I've got this from SMA, like that, okay, in the diagram for you guys. Battery, Sunny Island, now you have 230 volts, 50 hertz. Now those LG products that's in the screen will work, okay, would work now. But as always, there is always consumption only in this diagram, okay. You need some form of generation, okay, to recharge into the battery. So now I've got the Sunny Boy. Sunny Boy 5 or 4 kilowatts now attaches to the system. All those string inverters are called grid connect inverters, and they now see this Sunny Island electricity grid, okay. They can now generate power from the sun, okay. So during daytime, the solar would supply the loads direct. Excess energy would then feed through the Sunny Island back into the battery. And of course, at nighttime, we all know everything's supplied by the battery. Okay, system works perfectly in this way if the loads and the generation are all sized well. Okay, well now Adrian has more budget, or now have more children in the family in the mountain. Now adds on more solar systems. Okay, more loads are coming in, so he decided to add more generation. Okay, that's all good. Okay, you can add those solar in that AC bus anytime you like, because it's AC. Okay, whenever they see the AC electricity, this Sunny Island grid, they will then generate. Okay, that's one benefit of having AC coupled system. Well, I've got some DC-DC charges. Can I still use them? Or DC loads? Does the LG has DC fridge? I don't think so, all right? Some of you may have some DC fridges or DC charges. You can still have them to charge the battery on the DC side, okay? Really depends on the load, so do an in-depth load assessment before offering them a solution. Okay, if they're having huge nighttime loads and almost no daytime loads, DC charging might be better. Okay, but it varies from customer to customer. You can use our Sunny Island Charger 50 or any third-party DC to DC chargers. Okay, whenever you have any third-party DC chargers or loads, remember to add the shunt on the negative side of the battery, so the Sunny Island can tell how much is charged and discharged on the DC side. Okay, everything that goes through the Sunny Island it is able to tell, but things on the DC side it is unable to tell. Okay, if you don't have the shunt, most likely will overcharge the battery. Okay, and good luck. Okay, battery is quite expensive. All right, in the overall system here. Not only that, generators. Okay, remember we're still in off-grid mode. You can have a generator as an external source. Terrible weather for 4 days, batteries in very deep state of charge, you basically have nothing else to use at all. So now you can bring in the generator. Sunny Island has an internal system. When the state of charge drops to a certain percentage, of course you can change them, then it will bring the generator in, charge the battery, supply the loads, okay, until it reaches charges back to a certain state of charge. Then it will stop. Okay, remember in the off-grid setup, I'm going to put just some diagrams up soon. In the off-grid setup, there's no back feed. Okay, it's reverse power protected. Okay, to the external sources. Okay, in this setup, off-grid mode, only draw power from the external sources. Okay, hope this is clear. Is everything okay so far? Or have I gone too quick? Any questions so far? It's always quiet, okay? In the online world, people stay quiet all the time. Except Rob and Alex, okay? It takes them time to respond. All good? Cool. Now let's move on to that. Well, when the batteries are full, when the LG Chem batteries are full, the 5 kilowatt is still generating 5 kilowatts daytime. What will happen? There's no mechanism to stop things from charging. There's no loads. There's still full generation. It's going to charge back into the battery, okay? You don't want it to happen. Sunny Island will sense this over surplus of power, will then increase the frequency, okay, of its grid that it's making, okay? From 50 hertz up to, in our case, 51.5, okay? Increases that AC frequency. The Sunny Boys, the red box, in the off-grid mode would see this increase in frequency and drop in power output. Okay, for our example here, 51.5 hertz AC corresponds to 50% AC power drop. Okay, so if it's generating 5 kilowatts, it will now only be throttled down to 2.5 kilowatts, okay, or lower. Okay, if the generation continues to increase, not ramping down, then the frequency will increase further to ramp down the units power output. Okay. Now Marcus suddenly wants a cup of hot chocolate, so turns on the water kettle, LG water kettle, then frequency will shift back to 50 hertz, then full power from the inverters. Okay, this whole mechanism is it's done by the Sunny Island, called frequency shift power control. Okay, you don't need to worry of surplus power charging into the LG battery at all. Okay, it's all controlled by the Sunny Island itself. Okay, in off-grid mode. Well, now you understood how it works in single phase. I do some sort of a swimming pool heating business in my off-grid remote island. You can do single phase and stack 3 of the sunny islands together. Remember, still 1 battery bank. Now you have around 18 kilowatts of continuous power, single phase. Okay, stack 3 of them in series, 18 kilowatts, single phase. Still 48 volt battery bank. Okay, still 48 volts battery bank. Well, if you have some 3-phase water pumps or 3-phase loads, well, same gears, remember the same gears, connect them differently. Well, of course you need a 3-phase board now. Then you can have 3-phase connection. What the first sunny island will take care of phase A, second would B, third C. Now you have a complete phase rotation 3-phase off-grid system. Well, of course now you're stacking a tri-power there, okay, to lower your cost. Same battery bank, still 1 48 volt battery bank on 3-phase. Cool? Well, system doesn't stop in 3-phase. You can go up to 300 kilowatts of continuous power. Okay, you can just have start with 1 sunny island, then forming a 3-phase system. Sit more than 3 sunny islands, you need a multi-cluster box. Okay, starting from multi-cluster box 6, 12, and then 36. Okay, then you can have a larger off-grid site, okay, by having a multi-cluster box which joins everything. Treat it like a massive junction box there, okay, for you to connect everything. Okay, maximum continuous power 300 kilowatts. Beware, those 2 smaller islands, the 3 and the 4.4, can only do off-grid single or 3-phase. Okay, single or 3-phase. Okay, they can't do 1 phase 2, 1 phase 3. Okay, single or 3-phase. Okay. All good so far? We're going very early quickly today. Good. Now let's go to on-grid mode. Okay, that's the more difficult bit. Grid storage. So in the grid connected storage system, you need a few more components. You still need the battery, you still need the sunny island, you still need the sunny boy. Now you also need the home manager and the energy meter as well. Okay. Often it's been forgotten in the graph, for all sunny island systems, you also need a remote. Okay. The remote, let me see if I have one here. There we go. For a sunny island system, you always need the remote to commission the system. Okay, for on-grid or off-grid, you always need the remote. Okay, so check in the order whether this is included. Without the remote, there is basically nothing you can program. Okay, there's just 3 buttons here. You can't program anything or start the system at all. You must need the sunny remote control. Okay. So in the on-grid system, you also need the home man and energy meter. In Germany, it's already able to control the larger loads, but for our market, things are a little bit slower. We're waiting for the appliances to catch up with the smart chips, then it is able to control them at a certain time and a certain duration as well, okay, to sort of shed your peak load, okay. First off, the sunny island can now talk in SpeedWire Direct. So you would, for the on-grid storage, you do need the SpeedWire data module. Okay, additional cost, of course. All right, SpeedWire data module insert in the sunny island for it to communicate in Ethernet. Okay. In terms of network connection, sunny island in Ethernet, the red line's Ethernet cable. Energy meter in Ethernet cable to the router. Home manager, Ethernet cable to the router as well. If you happen to have a Sunny Boy 5 kilowatt system, remember large display screen means Bluetooth. If it's in close range to the home manager, they can talk via Bluetooth. Okay, they can talk via Bluetooth. The home manager has dual function, okay, Bluetooth and Ethernet. If the Sunny Boy inverter is a bit far away in the shed, well, you can also patch it through as well. Okay, doesn't stop you. You can either go through Bluetooth or SpeedWire, okay, for the Sunny Boys. Okay, hope that's a bit clear. Moving on, the most technology advanced product we've built so far is the energy meter. Okay, everyone loves the energy meter. All right, energy meter is a 3-phase or single phase energy meter. Okay, you basically wire it up into the switchboard, closest to the switchboard. It then measures, it's like a clamp meter. Okay, measures import and also export. It measures the import and export current. Okay, current then means in power. Okay, this thing only measures, it has nothing else other than measuring. Okay, you need the home manager for it to interpret the information. Okay, this thing, single phase or 3-phase wiring is possible. Each phase 63 amps maximum if you wired it in the board. Okay, for commercial sites larger than 63 amps, then use the CT. Okay, class 1 CTs 5 amps maximum. Okay, beware, 2 years warranty only for this one. A lot of installers having trouble installing this thing. Make sure all the loads are installed on the load side of the meter. Okay, in other words, put the meter as close to the fuse as possible, to the main switch as possible. Okay, if there's the wiring is not done properly, then system won't be measuring the proper parameters. Okay. Well, as mentioned already, that energy meter only measures thing. Home manager then interprets the info, talks to the Sunny Boy, talks to the Sunny Island, and then uploads online. Okay, with such setup, it is able to upload all the consumption or the generation data online. Okay, you can basically log into Sunny Portal and check how much is using the battery, how much is drawing from the grid, and so on and so forth. Okay, with the battery system at the moment, it can control the export power down to 10%. Okay, export down to 10%. So if you're having a 5 kilowatt inverter at the moment with battery systems, it can only export down to 500 watts. Okay, for systems with battery. For systems without battery, 0 is achievable. Okay, 0 export is achievable. All good so far? Questions, or am I going way too fast today? All good? Cool. One thing to pay attention, when you register this Grid Connect system online, system's going to prompt you for a new plant password. All right, make sure when you put in the new password, it actually overwrites the system's installer password. Okay, so all these things have default 1111. When you key in online, let's say Adrian loves solar as the password, or everything will change to the new password. Okay, so beware. Right, beware. Don't call the service line because you don't forgot the password. Just means a new online password now applies to these units. Moving on to that, online gives you basically everything. Okay, it gives you the complete load profile of the home once you have the system installed. Okay, how much is pulled from the grid, how much is consumed by the battery, how much is charged into the battery, how much is fed to the grid. Okay, if there's excess energy, all things at a glance. Okay, at your control in your iPad, iPhone, or laptop computer. As mentioned, we are already in Germany, in Europe area. These companies are already supporting these sort of smart homes, these appliances. These will soon, hopefully, maybe may apply to the LG products soon, very soon. Okay, at the moment, a lot of products, when sensing the AC output power, they can't run. Okay, let's say a washing machine, you still need someone to physically press the start button. Okay, for it to run. Okay, at the moment, the industry is changing to a more smarter chip. So when the device senses there's AC power, AC voltage coming through, then they'll run. Okay, the function will then run. Okay, if everything's are going well, now let's go to the in-depth bit. Okay, product thing is gone. Let's look into how it works. Okay, grid mode. There are 3 sort of steps. Okay. You can, basically everything is determined by the battery's state of charge, whether it's lead acid or the LG Chem lithium-ion battery. Everything, the whole system functions, or everything at the moment, based on the battery state of charge. So this I've done this test years ago. So it may change. Okay, different customer, different sort of setting for it. And in my trainings, it would also change whether the customer wanted to purely for self-consumption or more for backup. Okay, if you are in an area more for electricity blackouts, you may want that third region, that that darker red region, to be more. Okay, for us that are in Sydney or areas that are having a more reliable network, we may want our orange region, the self-consumption region, to be higher. Okay, beware that this thing on screen just for an example only. Okay, for you to understand how it works. Okay, and by the way, that's lead acid as well. So first off, we have set 20% for self-consumptions. It's 20% depth of discharge for stores. Down to 80% state of charge for self-consumption. Okay, so during daytime, the loads are turned on. Well, the sun's not kicked in yet. Our battery state of charge starts to drop. Okay, our loads are pretty high today. Okay, so our solar can't support the rest of the load. So battery state of charge continues to deplete down to 85%. Okay, down to 85%. Now, when the sun comes back in, everything now is running on battery, okay? No grid, nothing from the grid at all. Now, when the sun is generating more than the loads, then the battery will then recharge, okay? First is consumption by battery, then recharge by solar. Still zero from the electricity grid. Is everyone okay with scenario number 1? Scenario, I won't go through more if I don't see more okays. Okay? Okay, cool. Scenario number 1 is easy. Let's move on to scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 is when we have a thunderstorm. The loads are quite large, or after a few days, the battery state of charge now hits our first range there, 80%. Once the battery state of charge hits the 80% mark, the battery will stop supplying the loads. Okay, battery will stop supplying the loads. All the rest supplied by the electricity grid, plus the solar, of course, if you have some. Okay, remember, once it hits that 80% mark, in our case, battery will stop supplying everything by the grid and the remaining solar. Okay. Only solar will bring the state of charge back up. Okay, when the load starts smaller with more sun, only solar will bring the loads back up. Okay, in the orange region, on the top first region, the grid won't charge. Okay, the grid will not support anything. Okay, only solar will be able to bring the battery state of charge upwards. Okay, scenario 2 should be easy enough. Now let's move on to scenario 3, where there's a grid blackout. Now we have a grid blackout. Well, we still need to watch TV and surf the net, right? Well, battery state of charge starts to drop further down, okay? It cannot, because we are now on backup mode, it can surpass that region, okay? Going deeper. Now we have dropped down to 45%, okay? It could be 8 o'clock p.m., 8 p.m., 11 p.m., okay? 45%. Now the grid restores. Okay, now the grid's restored. What will happen now? Some of you may know already. Now the grid restores. The system will use the grid energy to charge into the battery and also supply the loads as well. Charge into the yellow zone. Okay, halfway up into the yellow zone, which is in our case 78%. Okay. So from 45% using full grid power, full peak tariff power up to 78%, and then stays there. Okay, the grid then remains supplying the loads, but not further charging the batteries. Okay, only up till the next morning when the sun kicks in, then the solar will bring it further up, back into the self-consumption orange range. Okay, all these percentages are adjustable. I've just used these as an example, okay, for our lab testing lithium-ion batteries. Is everyone okay with these 3 scenarios? Okay, with the grid, without the grid, When it will use battery, when will the grid come in? Okay, at the moment the system once again is determined by the battery state of charge. Okay, it will not take in any time, any tariff rate at all. Okay, whenever it hits that certain state of charge, it will perform that function. Cool. These diagrams can be found in our installation menus and the recommended guides. I'll be explaining that one at a time, all right? For on-grid storage, there are basically two setups. One's self-consumption, one's backup. Self-consumption and backup, okay? This diagram shown here is for backup, okay? In order to have the backup function, you need to disconnect the Sunny Island system or your home away from the grid, okay? Because the Sunny Island's going to boot up power, it's going to feed out to the grid, okay? You just can't allow that to happen, okay? So when there's electricity blackout, system will disconnect from the electricity grid. You need that sort of mysterious box over there, okay? Going through that now. So let's look into the backup first. You would require a few more third-party additional components for this one. Well, it's a huge investment already in the batteries, the Sunny Island and other things. This small sort of box here involves 2 or 3 more components. It's minimum compared to the overall installation cost. You would require an AC contactor there, which I say over here, which my mouse is hovering above, Q2. Okay, Q2 is a normally open AC contactor. I've got here single phase. You can do 3-phase, of course. Q2 is a normally open contactor with an auxiliary switch. Okay, with an auxiliary switch that's in a different position, which is normally closed. Okay, so the contactor itself is normally open. The auxiliary switch here on the right-hand side here, normally closed. Okay. When the system is energized, Q2 will close. Obviously, all right, you're connecting to the grid. Q2 will be closed. That results in the auxiliary switch in the open position. I should do the other way, okay? In the open position, okay? You can see in the circuit, on the X5 circuit over there, it actually connects to the battery voltage, okay? So when you're connecting to the grid, the auxiliary switch is open, so you get no voltage. Okay, Sunny Island basically senses the system is fine, I'm grid connected, I have 0 volts over there, okay, for the feedback signal. Okay, system works fine. In this operation mode, then system will perform scenario number 1 and scenario number 2, okay, which is the battery discharge, grid solar charges back in, so on and so forth. Okay, now worst case scenario, grid goes away. Okay, car crashes into the electricity pole, good luck, all right? Now you are out of power. Q2 is no longer, which has 100 bit of it. Oh, there we go. Q2 are no longer energized, so it's gonna open, okay? Q2 is no longer energized by the grid, so it's gonna open. It's normally open, okay? That will result in the auxiliary switch closing, giving the signal to the Sunny Island that it now has 48 volts across. Okay, once the Sunny Island ensures that the Q2 is open and there's 48 volts coming through, this will guarantee we are off the grid. Okay, Sunny Island will take around 5 seconds to boot up. Within this 5 seconds, your solar will be gone, your LG 60-inch or 80-inch TV will be off. Sorry, Foxtel will be gone. Okay, after 5 seconds, then things will reboot. Okay, this 5 seconds later, Sunny Island will then provide the home with power. Okay, there's the 5 seconds because it needs to ensure that it's off the grid. It can't feed power to the grid. Okay, AS4777 cannot be an island itself. Okay, can't feed power to zap those electricians out there fixing the poles and wires. Okay. Now you're in off-grid mode because it's isolated from the grid. Now everything behaves in the off-grid mode. Okay. Everything here in the grid-connected wiring is in AS4777. You don't need to change anything to off-grid. Everything is in AS4777. Okay, the island is able to tell the Sunny boys what to do in this grid blackout. Okay, is everything okay so far? There will be interruption. It's not a seamless disconnection. There will be 4 to 5 seconds of home blackout. Okay. Now grid restores at around peak time, 7 p.m. prime time. Okay. Grid restores. Q2 would not close immediately. Okay, it won't close. But Sunny Island knows there's the grid already. Okay. The whole thing takes place at the Q2 contactor. 60 seconds later, then the island will close that Q2. Okay, bringing the whole system back on to the electricity grid. If there's still sun and things, of course, system at this reconnection, the whole thing is seamless. Okay, at the reconnection, it's only at the disconnection there will be a 5 seconds blackout. Okay, and now after your system is reconnected, then it goes to scenario number 3, which is using the full grid power to charge into the battery up to a certain state of charge. Okay, is everything okay so far with battery backup wiring? Now there's a backup function, okay? Therefore, you need this Q2 and the auxiliary switches and some of the other RCD stuff. Okay? Well, if the customer purely just wants self-consumption, you don't need that many extra work on that. Okay, this is for self-consumption, purely for self-consumption, no backup. So it only applies to scenario number 1 and scenario number 2. That's it. Okay, you don't need those Q2 stuff, nothing at all. Basically, it's putting the Sunny Island and the battery in the shed, supplying the home. Okay, the energy meter and the home manager is still required because it needs to measure how much it's consuming to tell the Sunny Island to discharge the battery. Okay, self-consumption. Is everything okay so far with the on-grid mode wiring? Okay, I'm going to show you one last diagram, which is the off-grid wiring. Now, then you see the whole picture. This is the off-grid wiring. You don't need the home manager. You don't need the energy meter because you're just purely pulling the grid, using the grid as an external source. Okay. However, you're a bit more restricted. You can't feed power into the grid in this case. Okay. There's a reverse power protection, and you're limited to 50 amps in this case. Okay. Hope it helps. Okay. Go covering all these 3 different setups. On-grid backup, which requires an additional tools on the small switchboard here. On-grid storage, don't need much gear, only need the energy meter. And off-grid wiring. Cool. We've got a team of experts here resolving your questions at the moment. You can check online. I may send you through the documentations. There's basically 3 setups that you can go through, okay? Read through the title of the document to make sure that you're reading the proper stuff. Even I felt confusing a few months ago with it. That's it for my bit. There will be surveys. This is our first sort of a co-hosted webinar training. We wanted your feedback on whether the time is proper, the 4 to 5 o'clock Sydney time, and whether the content is suitable or not for you guys. Okay, there will be surveys sent out. Maybe in the chat function, Therese will assist with us. And let's go with the Q&A sessions now. And let's see how many questions have we got.
Okay, I'll be able to see your questions and I'll read them through. Alan, if I can get you to sit here next to me and just give me some of the answers. The first one is that I see here.
One second. Let me shift the screen. Over here on the left side. Yep, there you go. You can control the...
Okay, scroll.
Just scroll.
Look, a lot of the questions were actually answered. Can I just go right to the bottom? A lot of the questions were answered as we were progressing. So I'm picking up here, there was for LG Chem battery, nominal current is 42 amp, therefore it's only recommended to use in a single phase setup. The story, as far as I understand, and look, I'm really out of my depth here. I remember 8 years ago in the Children's Hospital, I sometimes wish I would be there. We, on a 3-phase, if you put a Sunny Island on each individual phase, could you then theoretically put a 12.8 battery bank behind each Sunny Island? Is that possible, Al?
Each Sunny Island.
Yes.
Yes.
So
it's
we can.
possible.
So you therefore could actually theoretically, if somebody has money to burn
Mhm.
and wants 37.4 kilowatt
Yes,
hours,
yes.
they could do it that
Right,
way.
right.
Okay. Now the other question was.
But that would be single phase though.
That's
That
right.
will, you don't have this three phase rotation. It will be single phase
Yes.
back up.
That's right. So
Only.
you've got on each phase, you only got the 12.8. You don't have the full lot available on one of the
On one,
phases. Yes, you're absolutely
They don't
correct.
share. Okay, it's separate.
That's right. The second one is if LG Chem is 42 amp nominal, that's going to support a 2 kilowatt load right. As far as I understand, the 42 amp is the ideal amp, but it can do actually 70 amp
Yes.
continuous. Is
Yes,
that correct?
That's correct.
And what that means of how many kilowatt hours does it can go for from a peak point of view? We've got a couple of people doing the math here. I'm beyond it. I'll get back to you that after Charles is helping us out here. What 70 amp would give us, how much the load support would be. We're doing the calcs at about 3.5 kilowatt hours.
300 kilowatt, not
Three-
kilowatt hour.
3.5 kilowatt.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Then can the SI grid connect be zero export for ergon area? What do we do about zero export? I have, but Charles is nodding. But what's the answer to that? Would you be kindly giving us a typed answer there? Okay, I think it's a nod with an add-on. You know those. Yes, I love you, but. So we'll see what comes out of that. Somebody said, good if you have money for that unit. In regards to the overall principle, obviously because you do need the Sunny Island part of it, we see the key market for this product at the moment is the retrofit, specifically in New South Wales, where you go back from the 60 cent and you are willing, because you've paid already for your system, to add a Sunny Island and the battery. Obviously, if you need a 6.4, the percentage of the inverter cost is relatively more than if you'd go for 12.8. So obviously the cost per kilowatt will come down the larger the bank that you build. Also, I want you guys to be aware that obviously this is the first product coming into the market. We have it physically here now. We're not talking about it. It is physically arriving in about 6 weeks' time. So obviously products and items will evolve. All the items that you require from the Sunny Island to the home manager and all that, as I said, solar juice at the moment, and I believe other distributors will copy it, will offer this in a kit at the moment for the 3 kilowatt. I think it's $3,900, and so that's all the items involved. That's ex GST, ex transport, and I believe the 4 kilowatt is about 500 euros, 600 euros more. So again, you would maybe have to check with the distributor exactly for the cost of that. Let me have a look what the questions. Is it, sorry, but I'm unclear. Is the house running from the batteries all the time, day and night, and just topping up with the solar during the day and grid after sunset? No, I don't believe so. Could you help us with this one?
So the 3 point from Alex Wrightson. Oh, which
from
one?
Austin.
Oh, Austin. Is the house running for batteries all the time and just topping up solar after sunset?
As once again, the battery state of charge determines when the system is going to use the battery and when the system is going to pull from the grid. So if you, back in the other slide, if you have made your, give me 1 second. If you made your orange area a lot more, let's say we're on lithium ions here, we use our self-consumption can go down to 20% DOD, then basically your system should be self-sufficient, okay? You shouldn't be pulling any grid power at all if you have enough generation in the morning.
I think we do a 10% DOD.
Down to 10%. So you can use 90%, okay, for the LG Chem products, okay? You can use up to 90, but if you've allocated 90 for self-consumption, you have nothing for backup, okay? When the grid goes away, that's it, okay? That's it remaining.
So what you're saying, just for me to understand, you can actually determine in this graph how many percentages you want to.
For each section. Yep.
That's right, and therefore you are, I suppose, using the consumption of your individual customer can, I suppose, custom tailor it to
Yeah.
get the best result out of it for your customer.
Yeah. Each customer has a different expectation as well, okay, on how much they want to use.
Okay. Does LG support the warranty on the LG Chem when the importer is solar juice? No. Look, the answer is yes. LG Chem will back up the warranty, but overall, LG Chem will be setting up here in Australia, and very shortly we'll have an office, and the warranty and all of that is then held by LG Chem. Can the battery charging be programmed to not charge at peak tariff and only on solar and off-peak?
At the moment, it is not possible. However, there is a trick. One second. It's slow. Everything is quite slow here towards the end of the day. Back into the diagram, you can see that relay 1. Let me just draw that here 1 second. You can see that relay 1 in the on-grid backup mode, this relay 1 is already being used. There's one thing that is free. Relay 2 is free. Okay, so you can potentially add one extra relay here and connect to relay 2. Okay. For those that understood the Sunny Island, you can program the relay on time, on state of charge, and all those other things. So even though the grid is restored, Q2 is closed, you can still use relay 2 to trick the system not to connect to the grid, maybe on time. Okay, you can program from what's peak time, 6 to 10, maybe 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. still remain open. So even though the grid is restored on Q2, the relay 2 still remains open. Okay, that's one way.
The actual peak time, I think, in New South Wales at the moment is from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
That's quite a long range there.
So it's a relatively
I'm
long
still
range.
on single rate.
Now, can you bring me the questions back, please?
Yep. Does
I'm
that
con-
answer your question? Who actually asked that?
Okay.
One sec.
Glenn Clark had a good question. And I'd say we go for about another 5 minutes, then we close. So we're kind of wrapping it up shortly. By the way, we have videoed this. I have to check if the video is available, but obviously this would be useful maybe for some other staff members, etc. So we'll hopefully, definitely the presentation, but hopefully the video. Now, Glenn Clark says, I'm confused. We have both statements. It's always great at the end of a webinar to achieve that outcome. I'm confused. We have both statements that the LG Chem's SI system requires home manager and energy meter, and that only the energy meter is required for self-consumption. Please clarify.
On-grid storage, energy meter, and home manager. Always need both, okay? It's just in the diagram that's simplified, that's ignored the home man, okay? Always need home man and energy meter, okay? Just the meter itself, it's just measuring. You need something smarter as the brain to interpret and upload. Always both, energy meter and home man.
Do we need the yellow and red range with lithium, e.g. range for maintaining the state of charge and also protection against deep discharge? Do you remember? I think that's going back to your graph.
The yellow and the red, all the range still remains the same. Give me 1 second. They still be there, okay? If you look into the installation manual, you can actually see the 26204, 05, 01, 02 all remains there, okay? For lithium and lead acid. Okay, so you need to, there are some minimums, there are some maximums for each range that you can program them.
Can I actually decide that I just want to have a cycle where it starts to discharge from 6 o'clock onwards when I come home and start using, the TV and everything, and then at 90% it stops, and then or even at 80%, and then in the morning, maybe if I have a bit left, I can use it for the morning peak, and then during the day it charges the battery up. Can I actually program it like that? I'll explain the question once more. Let's say I've got a 12.8 kilowatt hour unit. and I believe that my evening peak takes about 8 kilowatt hours out of the unit, and my morning toasting and all that maybe another 3 kilowatt hours.
Yep.
So I nicely have it sized that my evening use and my morning breakfast making takes it out of the unit, and then during the day when I have leftover I charge it back up, and then I repeat the same cycle again the next day. Is it possible to program it like that?
Not possible to program when your loads turn on. If it's within that specific state of charge in the self-consumption, it will then use the battery.
Right.
If it's dropped below that certain state of charge, it will use the grid.
Right.
So simple function only. You can't program what and when to use.
You
at
don't
the
have the
moment.
time, you actually have to use the state of charge to be your trigger.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
At the moment, okay?
Right. Now, as I said again, guys, this is not the first product, both from SMA and us. This is a start. It's possibly not as easy as plug and play immediately, but it is possible, and those who have used the Sunny Island, what we do like about it, it is a very, very robust unit. I've done also a little bit of a calculation with Alan, and the 6,000 cycles that we believe the battery will last, at that point there's about 60% of the life of the battery left, at which point we feel there is not much left in it. We worked out that approximately that's around 28,000 kilowatt hours you should be able to drag out of the battery over its full life. So if you do your ROI calculations, possibly use that number at the moment as one of the numbers to go by. I'll take two more questions. Let's see what we got. So we're talking 90 DOD. What is recommended as the minimum and the max? What would make the life of the battery as easygoing as possible? 80% or?
Well, less DOD is always good,
Mm,
but for the 90%, that's 5 to 95%.
5 to 95%. What does it mean? What do you mean by that? Sorry.
Which is DOD is 90.
Right. Okay. I actually, so you're saying DOD 90 could be maintained all the way through, is it? Through the
Yes.
life of the battery.
Yes.
It's not really putting extra strain on the battery, is it? The battery is designed to handle 90.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, the battery is able to handle 90 and even a little bit less than that on short time. What else? Let's go to one of the right at the end. We need to divide. Look, I can't see too many more new ones. What I suggest strongly is that obviously we've created a first FAQ that went out to the dealers. We're happy to do a second one. And so what I suggest is people do put their questions together and send it to us. We will, give you the best and fastest answer that we can. We understand that in some applications people will have to make the extra effort. In other applications it'll work quite well, and we're quite proud of how small the battery has come and how robust the system will be working with the SMA Sunny Islands. That's about it. Thanks guys, and hopefully from a communications point of view it was worth your time. Please fill out the SurveyMonkey questionnaire because it will help us to improve it for next time. And as I said, I'll see if I can get hold of the video. Thank you very much, and thanks very much for Adrian, especially with his extra energy. He got us up because we had a long weekend, and thanks to Alan for being available and coming all the way from Korea.
Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you. You can email us direct, maybe email me, and I can distribute the questions out to them. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time online once again. All right. Have a good time. Safe trip. Safe driving back home.